VIP room.
Region play set to begin here at Salem Hills High School. The Spanish Fort Dons facing tonight the Salem Hills Skyhawks. The Dons, Chris, on a 4-game losing streak coming into region play. Salem Hills not had a great preseason, but one of the toughest schedules, according to head coach Jimmy DeGraff and Reed, in the state of Utah. But tonight, the Dons are going to have their hands full with a tough Salem Hills team and a very tough James Nelson for Salem Hills.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. James Nelson comes in averaging just a little bit over 24 points a game, and he's been he was just named All-Region, I believe, by Deseret News earlier this week for Region 10 football as well. So he's going to be a tough athlete that Spanish Fort's going to have to keep their eyes on.
We want to thank our sponsors for tonight's game, the Car Guys, located at 872 North Main in Spanish Fort, and actually now Tony Basso. Let me X that out. Tony Basso Auto Group. MVP Sports will sponsor tonight's MVP of the game, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, sponsoring tonight's great assist, Two Jacks Pizza, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Dickerson Automotive, Mikkel Christiansen and Wise, attorneys at law. Now, Spanish Fort, they've run into a kind of a brick wall. You weren't around for the Summit Academy game where the Dons faced the top 3A team in the state of Utah. But I'll tell you one thing, they gave them a run for their money, but somehow, some way, they went on a 4-game losing streak. They did get a loss, or a win against Delta to finish up before region play, and I'll tell you what, the Dons really needed that one going in.
Yeah, they come into this game 5-5. However, yeah, the last time I've seen Spanish play twice, the game we did against, I believe that was Mountain View.
Yeah.
Or no, that was Timpanogos, excuse me. And then I saw him play at Springville, and man, that was a tough game. So I think Spanish Fort's much improved over last year and poised to maybe make a run here in the region. It's going to be tough, though, because there's Orem and Payson as well. I actually saw the Maple Mountain Payson game earlier this year, and Payson, wow, they had the best fan support I've seen all season long. They packed their gym.
Talking with Jimmy DeGraff, did you see there on the screen? I spoke to him yesterday, actually, at MVP Sports. Anyway, he was discussing with me the size of guys he has in this Salem Hills team. And when we talk about size, I mean, we're talking about, obviously, James Nelson being the size he is at 6'5". They've got a point guard in Cole Griffin. He's our point guard, 6'7" for a point guard. So it's going to be interesting to see how Spanish Fort defends these big guys. And if you got a big guy at 6'7" dribbling, that should give Spanish Fort a little space to maybe create a few turnovers and it's taking the ball away.
Right, and on the other side, though, Spanish Fort's got Bridger Knowles. And we don't have a roster here, but he's about 6'5", I believe. So he'll have a tough job inside trying to deal with James Nelson. And
I mean, and Knowles, one thing you got to give the Dons credit for is, in particular with their big man, Bridger Knowles, the fact that he is as strong as he is, and he can knock some guys around. Salem Hills likes to play a little more for the finesse. We'll pause for the national anthem. Starting lineups being set to be introduced on the floor. The Skyhawks again coming in at the size that they have. Spanish Fort much shorter. And in region play, I see you got some digits written down there, Chris, as far as preseason standings. Orem looks to be pretty tough, and this region altogether is going to be one battle with the exception of a couple of teams.
Yeah, it should be quite the battle, and like I said, I think your top there's probably 4 or 5 teams that'll be fighting for those 4 spots into the playoffs, and Spanish Fork and Salem Hills are those fringe teams, so they need to start the region season off with a win tonight.
Dawn's being introduced on the floor. Congdon, Knowles, Tanner Olson, Bryler Jensen, and Parker Swenson, the starters for Spanish Fork. And now it is dark as the Salem Hills Skyhawks will be introduced. And I'll tell you what, we've seen a lack of attendance in non-region games at Spanish Fork High School. I'm getting a feeling that some of the students and members of the Salem community are pretty excited about this Salem Hills basketball team, Chris, and they want to show their support tonight, and by golly, they're going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. They have nearly filled up the student section here. Quite a few Spanish Fork students as well, but man, a lot of parents and adults here as well, so it's going to be a great environment for this ball game.
I'm not suggesting if you want to go steal something from some houses, you probably could, but, you know.
You could.
Don't do it, but. All right. So Salem Hills being introduced on the floor. James Nelson now being introduced. He's the one to watch on Charles Wiltshire, Cole Griffin. Who else we have out there? David Jones.
The other one, Jacob Rolfe.
Yeah, Jacob Rolfe on the court. So the Skyhawks introduced, the Dons introduced. Clear to the floor. Let's get region play underway here at Salem Hills.
And let's turn these lights on as fast as possible. It's scary in the dark sitting next to Alan.
Well, you know, you never know. I mean, even in the light it's scary enough.
Looks like Nelson's going to tip off against Bridger Knowles here, or is that... That's
Charles Wiltshire.
Wiltshire.
And he'll go up against Knowles. Bridger, the leading scorer for the Dons. And he's going to need to have the body ready tonight because that's what it's going to take for him to clear space, I think. But the Dons get the tip off out of the gate and score out of the gate. Parker Duval with the lay-in. That was Parker Swenson.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, Knowles tips it right to him, and Spanish Fork has their defense running deep.
Just like that, Salem Hills on the board, Wiltshire with a bucket.
Yeah, and it's hard. We're in the corner of this.
And the Salem bench stands up, and it makes it fun for us.
We got the cheerleaders to the left and the bench to the right.
Yeah. To the base, Congdon gently floats it, misses, rebound out of bounds, and it should go to Salem Hills. No, it stays a Spanish.
Looked like Tanner Olson knocked it off. We had a pretty good angle at it. But nonetheless, Olson will inbound for Spanish Fork.
We need to build a bigger score table and allow us a spot there, Chris.
Absolutely.
But I'll tell you what, you know, luckily we had this TV in front of us, so you just toggle the game off of that.
There you go.
Jump ball, possession arrow to the Skyhawks.
And Spanish Fork just has to match the intensity of Salem Hills because they're feeding off their fans.
Ball will be inbound. Cole Griffin with it. He and James Nelson, the two guards, 6'5" and 6'7". Underneath the bucket, good. Looks like it's Wiltshire again.
And Spanish Fork's got to find a way to deny that inside. That was way too easy that time. So they've got to not allow those guys to get so deep inside.
Outside three ball on its way, no good. That attempt was by, looks like Jensen. The rebound to Salem Hills, and here they are. Nice pass underneath. Rolf loses it. But the Skyhawks retain possession. Shot up, missed. Rebound to the Dons. That one missed by David Jones. The Dons nearly losing it. Jensen, 3 again. He had 5 the other night against Delta at 19 points. So, a lot of people surprised by what they saw out of Bryler Jensen.
He lets it fly.
3-ball, no. Rebound. Shot up, no. Rebound. Back to the Skyhawks. Rolf can't connect, but Wiltshire there. He's got all 6 for the Skyhawks.
And you know what they say? 7th time's the charm there, and Skyhawks have a 4-point lead.
Just like that. 6-2. Salem Hills with a 6-0 run.
The Dons have to do a better job of rebounding, particularly boxing out.
There we go. Knowles with it. Oh, forces too hard. Rebound. There should be a foul against Charles Wiltshire, and I believe it will be his first.
First foul in the game as well. It's a non-shooting foul.
Actually, a foul committed by Griffin. So the Dons will inbound. Congdon with it. Right side corner, going up to Tanner Olson. Jensen. He's trying to get a play set up here. Congdon. Off a screen by Knowles. Shot up by Swenson is good. So Parker Swenson with 4.
Has all 4 of the points, and that was a nice aggressive take. He went in there against the tall guys, and no problem for Swenson.
Oh, nice move and a steal by the Dons, and then it's stolen right back by Salem Hills. Wow.
Yeah, Bridger Knowles thought Rolf was his teammate.
Well, there he is, doing what he does. James Nelson's first bucket of the game. It won't be his last. Knowles underneath, fighting hard, score it. Bridger Knowles, an answer.
Yeah, Knowles is your classic back to the basket player, and he does a great job of posting up, and when he gets that position, he's nearly impossible to stop.
Shot on the way, bucket good by David Jones. 11-6 Skyhawks.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with the Skyhawks' defensive intensity here as they are getting after guys.
Working it around the perimeter. Congdon to the base. Shot up.
Foul.
No. Rebound good by Knowles. So Bridger Knowles now at 4 points. Ball stolen away by the Dons. So the Dons now can tie it with a 3, and they're going to attempt. Congdon got it.
Wow.
11 all.
I believe that's a 7-0 run here for Spanish Fork. Both teams going on runs here.
Just like that. So left side are the Skyhawks. To go, well, actually,
was on
right,
the line.
left. And did he step out? He did. The Dons in possession. So David Jones unable to keep his feet in. The Dons in the black unis tonight will have possession of the ball. Want to see those Los Dons uniforms.
The Los Dons?
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll be able to see that next Friday when they host UWINA in La Hacienda.
That's right. A week from tonight, right?
A week from tonight.
Olsen to Congdon. Brandon, couple dribbles, into the paint, puts it up, misses. Rebound, Skyhawks, and here they come.
A great move by Congdon, just unable to connect.
Carson Peterson in the game for Salem Hills. And the ball lost out of bounds by Cole Griffin. The Dons will get the ball back.
Wow. Both teams making a lot of mental mistakes with turnovers so far, but man, the intensity in this gym is at a high level. I haven't felt this in much intensity at a basketball game in some time.
Yeah. That's nice to see some rivalry matchups. Congdon for 2 or way deep. Needed to step back on that one.
You can tell Congdon shot a lot of threes and just was a little bit long that time, or a lot actually.
Left side, shot up, air ball by a long shot. That attempt was by Peterson. Now the Dons in transition. Swenson, scoop, scores! Parker Swenson 6 points, and the Dons are the lead for the first time since the first bucket.
And Parker Swenson's more than doubled his average for the season just here in the first quarter.
Yeah, he's got 6 underneath. Shot up and good. That one again, Wiltshire. He's got 8 in the quarter.
Yeah, they list him at 6'7", and so he's got a big.
Actually, you know what? I missed that one. I believe. That's a foul. Oh, that was by Wiltshire. I got it right. That's a 2-shot foul coming for the Dons.
Is that going to be on Newman or Nelson?
That looks like.
Or excuse me, I'm looking at the B senior.
Trying to see who they issued it to. Wiltshire picking up his second.
And that's huge, number 25, Wiltshire, picking up that second foul.
Knowles misses number 1. First free throw attempts of the night for Spanish Fork.
And Wiltshire will come and sit out, and they'll replace him with Derek Burton.
Number 5 for Salem Hills into the game, and Knowles knocks down 1 of 2, and the Dons back to a lead of 1 point. Free throw on the way. We're getting some messages that kind of screwed me up a little bit. Free throws coming for Cole Griffin. He knocked down the first of 2. Second, no, rebound. Salem Hills.
That's huge, getting an offensive rebound off a missed free throw.
Shot up and right hand, good. Bucket by Tyson Bishop.
And that our offensive rebound leads to 2 more points, so that was a 3-point for Salem Hills.
Yeah. Miss that rebound on that front end. No foul called there, and Salem Hills with it.
Back-to-back rejections that time by the interior Salem Hills. Spanish Fork, like you mentioned, just does not have the height inside.
Well, I mean, if you're going to go in, fine, but you've got to use your body to create a little room.
Yeah, absolutely.
3 ball by Olsen. No rebound. Spanish and the bucket good. That one by Parker Duvall. His first bucket of the game. Game tied at 16.
Yeah, great job by Duvall, not even bringing that ball down and just pushing it right back into the back up and in.
Oh, that's a block. It's a block, right? That's a caught him a little bit with the body. James Nelson will go to the line for 2 shots.
And like we mentioned earlier, Nelson comes into this game averaging 24 points a game.
Now has 4 with that free throw.
When Spanish Fork played Salem Hills in football, man, he was on fire in the first half of that football game. One of the greatest passing performances I've seen.
Very good football player, all-around athlete, very good. For the Salem Hills High School, he now has 5:30 on the clock. Spanish Fork in possession. 1 bucket game. 3 ball on its way and missed by Old Sage Olsen. Salem Hills probably will take the last shot of this first quarter. Pretty high scoring quarter.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. There's been quite a few points here. Both teams getting some good looks, but man, I don't know if they'll be able to keep up this ferocious pace.
All out of bounds to the Dons.
And that's just a mental mistake there by Salem Hills, allowing that to go out.
Condon with it across the midcourt line, takes it coast to coast, can't get the bucket, no call, and that will end the first quarter. 18-16 your score. We'll be back here on Spanish Fork 17.
Hi, welcome to Two Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Come to Dickerson Automotive for all your car repair and maintenance needs. Now is a great time to make sure your car is ready for these cold winter months. We take the time to get to know you and your car to give you peace of mind. Dickerson Automotive, located way north on Main in Spanish Fork.
(18-16) the score here at Spanish Fork High School. I'll tell you what, Chris, that was a tremendous first quarter. It seemed like I kind of expected there to be a little nervousness and rust coming into the first region game of the year. Both teams look pretty cool under this pressure here at Salem Hills High School.
Yeah, and both teams are playing hard and playing fast. It was a very fast quarter as far as I'm concerned, and I think where Salem Hills has the big advantage is inside with Wilshire and James Nelson and some of that height.
Getting set to begin the quarter. Again, we want to thank our sponsors, Tony Basso Auto Group, MVP Sports, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, Two Jacks Pizza, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Dickerson Automotive, and Mikhail Christiansen and Wise. This game, as we get some timeouts and some slowdowns, we'll talk a little bit more about them. Left side, Sage Olson back to Condon. He lost it momentarily, gets it back.
And Salem Hills is doing a great job of denying Bridger Knowles.
Condon knocks down the bucket. He's got 5.
Yeah, you can tell Coach Jimmy there wants to limit Knowles inside as they were really pushing him to the outside.
Oh, and I had a feeling that was one of his ideas coming into this one. As he mentioned, he wanted his guys to be a little tougher underneath.
That's what you got to do with Knowles.
Ball out of bounds. Will stay with Salem. A few substitutions on the floor. Peterson out. Being one as Jacob Rolfe comes back in. Also out of the game, Tyson Bishop. And, Tyson, those two. Okay.
And Wilshire still is out of the game with those 2 fouls.
Nelson rattles a three-pointer in off the square. James Nelson with 8. Knowles can't connect. Salem with it. Underneath. Rolfe, no. Rebound, Knowles.
This is a tough game to keep up with. Both teams just running up and down. They don't need a shot clock tonight.
There's a foul by Salem Hills, committed by Kevin Humphreys.
Is that the 4th team foul on Salem here?
I believe so. So 3 for the Dons, 4 for the Skyhawks. Dons with it. Working the perimeter underneath. Knowles puts it on the floor and it goes out of bounds on his foot.
And once again, Rolfe on him that time. Rolfe was trying to deny him inside, but if they can get the ball with that matchup, I believe they can. Knowles can work on Rolfe because he's a couple inches taller.
Yeah. Right side with it. Rolfe throws it across the gym, and Spanish Fork will get it back.
And they'll get it underneath their own basket.
Dons would like to cut into it. A foul, and the bucket goes for Bridger Knowles.
And that's the one thing Spanish Fork has specialized in the last few seasons is those inbound passes to Bridger Knowles.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked down and I saw the ball go in.
Yeah, and that's all it takes. You get it to him underneath on the way up, and it's a done deal most of the time. As Knowles will get the end one attempt. Missed it. Rebound off Salem Hills, I believe. No, they give it to Salem.
And you know who picked up their third foul on that exchange? That was Wiltshire that picked up that third foul. So he came back out, and he's the leading scorer in the game, I believe. Well, him and James Nelson.
James Nelson, yeah.
Both have 8. So that's a huge foul.
Cole Griffin, the 6'7" point guard for Salem Hills. He's got Parker Swenson on him, but goes underneath and finds a wide open Ty Bailey for the bucket.
And Spanish Fork and Salem Hills just seesawing almost in a way. Really close matchup. Both teams closely.
Congdon to Knowles, he's fouled. Oh, they called a charge?
Offense. I don't know how you can call the offensive foul on that.
Yeah, there was nobody.
Kevin Humphreys just tripped, I believe, on that play.
Wow, they give it to Bridgers. They're actually off the ball to Brandon Congdon, so maybe that's what they thought.
Maybe that's why we had Kevin Humphreys hit the ground.
Yeah, number 2 on Brandon. 14th foul for Spanish. 23-20, Salem Hills, 5:30 approaching.
Yeah. Cole Griffin, he's 6'7". They have him running the point.
Yep. Right side with it, James Nelson. He's going to create his own shots. You know he will, just like that. Misses that time, well defended by Spanish Fork.
Maybe a little too creative on that shot. Does that look pretty forced?
I think your assessment would be correct there. Just what the Dons want to see out of him, though. He's going to have to take shots, and he wants to create opportunities. The Dons want him to do it the hard way. Foul against Salem Hills. Is that what we got here? No? Yeah. Or it's against Spanish. Bridger picks it up. That's his first.
And I didn't see that foul either, but a couple of offensive fouls the last 3 possessions here for Spanish Fork.
Oh, and if you start to see fouls off the ball, you start wondering are the Dons getting a little frustrated out there on the floor by some of the guys by Salem Hills.
Yeah.
You have to at least think that.
You would. And Salem Hills is doing a great job of rotating with that zone defense, and that can be very infuriating.
3 ball on its way, no good. Rebound back to the Skyhawks. They've been getting a lot of offensive boards. Shut up, no good again. A tangle on a foul committed by Salem Hills.
We have had a lot of offensive fouls this quarter, not so many defensive fouls.
Cole Griffin had 2 attempts on that end of the floor that he couldn't connect on.
Yeah, and Spanish Fork has got to find a guy that's going to go and get a couple of rebounds. I know they're outsized, but still you can box out and get that proper position.
Originals left side, flips it over. Shot made. That one by Bryler Jensen, his first bucket of the game. Very nice.
That was like a winding circus type shot. I mean, I don't know if he could do that again, but it still counts
if
for 2.
If it goes in, I'm not going to complain. Shot on its way, no good by Salem Hills. Rebound, that's a walk, I thought. No good. That one attempted by Ty Bailey. Salem Hills is doing nothing but getting offensive rebounds because they're not scoring points.
Jensen and Olsen have to do a better job of boxing out down there. Salem Hills can't take 5 shots every time they hit the ball.
No, and that was a travel, so the Dons will get possession here.
That's sort of a miracle they didn't score on that possession because they got 3 or 4 offensive rebounds.
So, 3-point lead for Salem Hills, 3:35 remaining in the first half. No timeouts have been called by either coach until I open my mouth. Timeout Spanish Fork. So that'll give us an opportunity, Chris, talk about one of all of those sponsors. You can read them there on the screen. But we want to first of all bring up our friends with Tony Basso Auto Group. They've been with Spanish Fork 17 the longest, although not named Tony Basso Auto Group the whole time. Once the car guys. 872 North Main in Spanish Fork, 794-0077. You can go, I believe, go to TonyBassoAuto.com is where you can reach them. Most of the vehicles on the lot under factory warranty still. So, excuse me, pay him a visit. Chris, help me out here.
All right, so yeah, we thank all those sponsors for making this and other broadcasts possible here. And wow, 23-22. Somehow it feels like Salem Hills should be leading this by double digits, but it's been a quiet 22 points for the Dons, but they're hanging in there.
Yeah, they are, and I'll tell you what. I was talking to Jimmy DeGraff before the game. He was concerned about this one, and he's, you know, obviously every coach is concerned about every game. Oh, brother Jensen can't connect. Foul to the Dons.
I don't know how you can call that on Sage Olsen, but he's going to pick it up, and that'll be the 16th foul for Spanish Fork. Looked like he got all ball, and he came in late and knocked that away. However, that's not how the official sees it, and Salem Hills gets the ball with Cole Griffin bringing it up the court, and Spanish Fork pressing now.
3:11 left in the half. Left side, Rolfe. Underneath. Looking for Nelson, and a foul committed by Spanish Fork, and I believe that's going to be 1-1, and you don't want James Nelson getting freebies here.
Yeah, you don't, because he's going to make them more times than not. We'll probably curse him with those comments, but looks like he might have traveled there because he was shuffling his feet a little bit, but maybe
it looks like Spanish is doing a good job frustrating him a little bit. And I think he's out of his comfort zone out there for Salem Hills.
Yeah, you're possibly right. He hasn't looked very comfortable all night.
Missed it. Net, but Salem Hills gets a rebound and scores. Tyson Bishop.
Once again, Salem Hills gets another rebound off a missed free throw. Oh, and that went off the leg of Tanner Olsen. Tanner Olsen doesn't think it did. I think it did because he happened 15 feet away from us.
Yeah, it looked pretty foreshore to me, unless he was complaining about a foul. But that didn't appear to be the case. Timeout, Salem Hills. He wants a 30-second timeout, so why not mention Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance at 220 North Main in Spanish Fork. They are on the right side of your screen there. 798-9288 is a number where you can reach him. Go online to lancewilsoninsurance.com. He'll offer you auto, home and property insurance, life, health, banking products, annuities, and mutual funds. He's been around since 2002 with State Farm. Took over for Steve, his father, a few years ago.
And remember to like us on Instagram and Facebook and follow us on YouTube. You can find all those at Spanish Fork 17. And you can be watching this game on YouTube. And if you are, we thank you for watching it.
Sometimes I catch myself watching ourselves on my cell phone while we're doing a game.
That doesn't sound narcissistic at all, Alan.
Not at all. I just want to see if it works.
It does work, indeed.
Shot good by number 14, David Jones, and Salem Hills out to a 5-point lead. Oh, Duvall can't connect.
A great move by Duvall. Just
had a shot there. Easy one. There's Nelson, probably fouled. Didn't get a call, and the bucket good anyway by number 5, Derek Burton, his first bucket. Salem Hills out to a 7-point lead.
And they're on a 5-0 run here. Last time they went on a run, Spanish Fork answered with their own. We'll see if they fight back.
Dons without Congdon and Knowles on the floor.
Oh, wow.
That shot was tipped. And Salem, Spanish should get it. Who are they giving it to?
Looks like they're giving it.
Oh.
Salem Hills.
No, I guarantee you that thing was blocked. And from the angle that we have, I watched it. It looked like that ball was altered a little bit in the air.
I mean, it only fell 6 feet short, so it was either a pass or it got rejected at that time.
No video replay here in this gym, though, so, hey, what do you do? Nelson inbounds it. The Dons really need a stop here. You don't want to go into the half down close to or over double digits.
Yeah, you're right, and Salem Hills has all the momentum.
They sure do. Shot up, 3-ball missed. Rebound Salem Hills, and this is just becoming too much. Bucket by Burton, good.
Yeah, Bishop missed that 3, gets his own rebound. I mean, that's been happening a lot where Salem Hills just wants that rebound more. I know they're a little taller, but still, Spanish Fork shouldn't be getting out-rebounded this much.
Block. Rebound Salem Hills. Burton didn't even know where the ball was, somehow ended up in his hands. Shot up, no. Rebound back to Salem, bucket good. And the Skyhawks are just, the Dons need to get the bigs more active and involved. And I don't know where, I understand Brandon Condon has 2 fouls right now.
Yeah, it's not going to matter in the second half if they're down by 20 points here to start, and Salem Hills has an 11-point lead, and I believe they're on a 9-0 run here as well.
Well, nevertheless, we've got a timeout on the floor, and we can talk about our friends at Two Jacks Pizza at 30 North Main in Spanish. 798-8601. Go online at twojackpizza.com. And if you haven't had their cheese sticks yet, I had some today, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
You need to get that. And you need to support these local businesses, most of which are on Main Street, except Mikkel Christiansen Wise. We'll talk about them here in a minute.
Great sponsors we have that make these, and Maple Mountain High School sports possible on this station. It's a great opportunity to watch some of these young athletes compete.
Hayden Madsen actually scored that last bucket for Salem Hills. So give him credit where credit's due. 11-point lead. The Dons' momentum gone.
Oh, man. Congdon was way open underneath the hoop. Duvall didn't see him until late, and then when he does, throws it out of bounds.
Nelson will inbound for the Skyhawks. Finds David Jones, who gives it back to him.
Skyhawks did a little bit of traveling this year as they played in a couple of tournaments.
Yeah, they had an opportunity to get out of town and experience some competition elsewhere.
They didn't win a lot of those battles, but still, that gets you great experience for these Region 10 games.
Oh, absolutely. Salem Mills wants the last shot.
Got to be getting close to a 5-second call here.
Got rid of it in time. Shot up good. David Jones on the bucket. He's got 6. 13-point lead heading into the locker room. 35-22. The Dons have just 6 points in the second quarter.
Yeah, great defensive effort by Salem Hills there.
We'll take a break and be back here on Spanish Fork 17.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Spanish Fork and Salem Hills in the first region game of the 2017-2018 season. And Salem Hills, man, did they have a rough second quarter, scoring only 6 points. And to Salem Hills,
17,
yeah 17 to 6.
Everybody from Salem Hills seems to be getting in the scoring action. I can't count how many guys have scored, but it's a lot.
Yeah, I'm seeing a ton. And James Nelson only has 8 points for Salem Hills, the top scorer, I believe, in the region. And Spanish Fork is held in to just 8 points, but the rest of the guys are picking it up for him, and the Dons have really just had a rough go of it in this contest. Again, we would like to thank all of our sponsors for this contest: Tony Basso Auto Group, Dickerson Automotive, State Farm Insurance, in particular Lance Wilson, Mikhail Christiansen Wise, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, and Two Jacks Pizza. Dickerson Automotive, located way up north on Main Street, 1900 North Main. 794-9385. You can go to dickersonauto.com, the finest repairs with personal care. We'll take a break for these cheerleaders. They weren't the Spanish Fort cheerleaders, but they were Salem Hills. We'll give them credit where credit's due, won't we, Chris?
We will. I'm going to be honest, I kind of zoned out, but sure, it was a great performance. Whoa. We're going to do the starting lineups all over again as they turn off the lights here.
Yeah, well, you know, they do what they got to do. They probably will do something for the drill team here. Mikhail Christiansen and Wise, attorney at law, located at 642 Kirby Lane. Suite number 105 in Spanish Fork, 798-9000. Number we can reach them, UtahLegalTeam.com. They take care of personal injury, accidents, low-cost bankruptcy, family, and criminal law. All of our sponsors we want to thank. We're certainly going to do our best to cover all of them as this game moves forward. But moving forward, we had to talk about what the Dons need to do in order to overcome the mess they're in right now, Chris. And you have to put rebounding at the top of the list.
Yeah, defensive rebounding in particular, Salem Hills is getting way too many shots inside. They got to do, and that starts with getting proper position, boxing out, and not letting the Skyhawks guys creep in. And I don't know if that means you need to change up your defense a little bit, maybe run a little man-to-man and just make sure you don't let your guy into the closer to the basket than you are. The other thing I think they need to do starts with getting the ball inside to Bridger Knowles and just trying to slow this game down. There is no shot clock in the high school level, but it seems like they just want to run down and throw the ball up, and I think that plays into Salem Hills' hands.
Certainly not helping the cause at this point. Salem Hills just dominated the Dons. Bridger Knowles is the leading scorer for Spanish with just 7 points. Parker Swenson with 6. Brandon Condon with 5. Then only 2 other players with 2 points. The Dons really have to get that inside game either going or give up on it altogether.
Yeah.
And you know, they got to be more physical is what it all comes down to. We'll let these young ladies entertain us here. They were wearing Maple Mountain colors, but it's Salem Hills.
It is Salem Hills.
West Maple Mountains.
Drill team's there. Why not?
Elevays. Okay, we'll take a break. Getting set for the second half of play, where the Dons trail by 13 in the Salem Hills Skyhawks 35-22 right after this.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Come to Dickerson Automotive for all your car repair and maintenance needs. Now is a great time to make sure your car is ready for these cold winter months. We take the time to get to know you and your car to give you peace of mind. Dickerson Automotive, located way north on Main and Spanish Fork.
Hopefully, during the break, the Dons were able to get into the locker room, discuss the woes of what was the second quarter, scoring only 6 points. Figure it out, fix it, come out here in the second half and show us a different team, Chris.
Yeah, and I think that's going to start with just like we mentioned, they got to do a good job of getting some defensive boards in this game. There was times Salem Hills had 4 or 5 shots, and just you can't give your opponent that many opportunities or you're not going to be successful.
Well, I'll tell you what, Salem Hills is a tall basketball team. They've got some of the better athletes in the Valley, in particular James Nelson. And you have to match them not by not by athleticism, but by toughness and physicality. And they're doing a good job on James Nelson. If you look at those keys to the game, they've slowed him up. He only has 8 points. Problem is, you got 4 other guys out there that you got to deal with. You can't ignore them. You got to come out and bruise with them just as well. But Salem Hills certainly winning that rebound battle. I wish we had that number exactly. I'll be able to get those numbers after the game in a couple of days, but I mean, that's just something the Dons have to recover from.
Yeah, and they have to match the intensity of Salem Hills, and that was one of the keys up there. And box out, put a body on a body. If you could just do that and get those rebounds and limit those shots, because on the other end, they are not getting an offensive. They got a couple, but it's very rare that they're not that they're getting offensive rebounds on the other side.
Teams being called to the benches to get their final words before we get things underway here in the third quarter. Salem Hills. Tom Morris, one of the coaches over there, getting the fans fired up for Salem Hills. And
it's amazing what a free T-shirt will do.
I'll tell you what, I actually, I believe that's a shirt that I printed. It's a Fan of the Week shirt that they do, and we take care of that at MVP Sports. We'll talk about that a little later. With the ball for Salem Hills, Cole Griffin. James Nelson, left side to Rolfe. Trying to look underneath to Wiltshire, can't find him. Nelson has it anyway. Brandon Congdon working on him.
And Spanish Fork going with a man-to-man defense, maybe trying to help with some of the rebounding woes.
Wiltshire, right side to Jacob Rolfe. Gets it back out. Griffin flips it over. David Jones ends up with it, scores it. He has 8.
And Salem Hills took 40 seconds to get that bucket. That seemed like that possession was going on for an eternity, but they come up with 2 and have a 15-point lead.
That is the result they wanted. Time off the clock, bucket good. Especially with the lead they have.
Yeah, Spanish Force just got to try and chip that down to about 5 or 6 in this quarter so they can make a run in the 4th.
Congdon looked like inadvertent contact with the feet in transition.
With the foul.
And he's going to get hit with a foul. Wiltshire will go to the line for 2 shots.
And I believe that's Congdon's
That's his third
foul. Actually, they have 2 up there.
What? They had 2 in the first half.
Maybe they switched one of those.
Is possible. Nobody's perfect, except me, of course.
And first free throw's up and good by Wiltshire.
Wiltshire knocks it down. He has 9 to lead the Skyhawks.
And he didn't play at all in that second quarter because he picked up his 3rd foul as soon as he got in. I shouldn't say he didn't play at all, but it was about 10 seconds worth of action.
Yeah, he didn't last long before he was pulled with 3 fouls, but he's back out there now, and he's scoring buckets. And free throws for Salem Hills. Shut up. No good by Congdon. The foul committed. He'll go to the line for 2.
Yeah, at what point does the Dons have to get out there and just try and make it rain from behind the 3-point line?
James Nelson picks up his first foul. Each team with 1 team foul. Congdon knocks down the first of 2.
Congdon's a very reliable free throw shooter.
Knocked them both down. He's got 7 to equal the Dons' lead with Bridger and Knowles at 7.
And Congdon's averaging 15 points a game. He's got 10 in this. Excuse me, he's got 7.
Right side, back to the left. James Nelson for 3, no good. Rebound, Bridger Knowles for the Dons.
And it feels like if Bridger Knowles doesn't get the rebound, nobody else is helping him out with the Dons.
Tanner Nielsen, the ball stripped away, and the Skyhawks have it. There's Nelson in the paint. Turns against Congdon, floats and scores. James Nelson with 10 points. Salem Hills back to a 17-point lead. Have a whistle and a foul. Yeah, for somebody step on the line. What do we got?
Looks like we've got a foul
against Rolfe, or they're saying something with Rolfe involved.
I think that's his second foul.
Yeah. So 2 on Jacob Rolfe, and the Dons have the ball underneath. Tanner Olsen will inbound, and the ball knocked away back to Spanish. It looked like that might have been off Congdon's foot.
Looked like Nelson knocked that off Congdon's foot, but Spanish Fork will get the ball nonetheless.
Brandon Congdon will inbound this time. And ball taken away.
I think that was Karma's way of saying it was off his foot.
Easy bucket in transition by Cole Griffin. He has 3.
Wow, Cole Griffin goes 6'7".
6'7". Runs the point. Runs the floor like a madman. Knowles swatted.
And this scene's about to get really ugly. We've seen some of these Spanish Fork Salem Hills games get ugly where we've seen 40-point ball games.
It used to be that Spanish Fork owned this rivalry between the Skyhawks and the Dons. However, I think at the beginning of last year, Spanish Fork gave one up to Salem Hills, and Salem Hills has been taking advantage of the Dons since.
What was that, like an 8-9 game winning streak Spanish Fork had?
Yeah. Nelson can't convert. Foul by Wiltshire, or is it Nelson? It's Nelson, his second.
A 13 foul, and Spanish Fork's got to make a big shot here to try and get back in this ballgame. They're going to have to make more than one, obviously, trailing by 19, but just to even catch their breath to keep this one within striking distance.
Now, so Spanish Fork in possession. Brandon Congdon running the point for the Dons. Dons with 2 points so far here in the third. Knowles will go to line for 2. And they're doing the right thing. They're forcing Salem Hills into a little bit of foul concern at this point. Just for the fact they already have 14 fouls. And if you can get some clock stoppage points, the Dons need to be scoring as well. They're not doing that. They're there.
But give Salem Hills all the credit. They know that Spanish Fork's offense runs inside the Knowles and then outside, but they've done a great job of denying Knowles the ball all night long.
Absolutely. Knowles for a second. Got it. 9 points for Bridger Knowles. 17-point lead for the Skyhawks. Turn around, shot up good. Tyson Bishop.
Wow, and everybody's scoring in this quarter for Salem Hills. He's the 5th guy to score.
Yeah, in the quarter. You know, the second quarter, they had the 7 guys score.
Yeah, and it's been a balanced attack, but give them credit. If they're not making a shot, they're getting the offensive rebound. Oh wow.
Easy does it for David Jones. Cole Griffin running the floor. Salem Hills with a 21-point advantage.
Geez, I might be having nightmares tonight about Cole Griffin. That was a grown-up sized block there.
I'll tell you what, not a bad block for a point guard.
Yeah, how many point guards go 6'7"?
They play point guard on offense. On defense, they play center. We want to thank MVP Sports, who sponsors tonight's MVP of the game. They are located at 72 North Main in Spanish Fork. You can give them a call, 798-3587, or you can go to MVPSportsUtah.com, and in particular on there, design yourself some T-shirts. T-shirt, uniform designers on the website, customized uniforms, equipment, shoes, sporting goods. Come on in to MVP Sports. It's 72 North Main. 21 points, the lead for this Skyhawks team, Chris. And I got a feeling that discussion on the bench wasn't a pleasant one for Spanish Fork. They have not. They don't have a field goal yet in the quarter.
Yeah, they don't. They've just got 4 free throws, and they have 6 in the third quarter, so they've really, just like the weather, we were in the middle of a drought.
Oh, yeah. Foul against the Dons will be against Brandon Congdon.
That was on 22 for Salem Hills. James Nelson.
Yeah, you're right. I was on Nelson. That's 3 on him. 3 all here in the quarter.
I think Salem Hills has 5.
Yeah, I was thinking we were on the other end of the floor. No. Knowles with a bucket. Bridger Knowles now at 11 for Spanish Fork.
Cuts it to 19, and if you're Spanish Fork, you might not win this ball game, but you can at least make it look respectable. I think that could help with some confidence building when these two teams meet at the La Hacienda later this season.
Yep. Salem Hills with it. It's Carson Peterson. You have a whistle and
timeout.
Another timeout. Timeout, Salem Hills Skyhawks. Why don't you visit us here at Spanish Fork 17 on YouTube? You can go to youtube.com/SpanishFork17 and watch live basketball games and watch other programming. It's recorded. If you missed a Goose in the Wild episode, you can go to youtube.com/SpanishFork17. Find it there. Like us on Facebook and Instagram at Spanish Fork 17.
And there's literally hours and hours of Alan's beautiful voice on YouTube. There in the archives.
Yep, certainly. Years and years worth. They went back, they could go back all the way to the start.
Before YouTube even existed.
Before YouTube. Listen, I mean, back in ancient times.
When we just had the cable channel.
Yeah, the only game you could play on your cell phone was Snake.
It was a good game, though. It was a good game.
Underneath Wiltshire. No. Bucket. Good by Griffin.
What a beautiful tip by Cole Griffin. And once again, Spanish Fork just has no answers on the defensive board.
I mean, Salem Hills just doing what they want underneath, outside, inside. Right now, it's just a free-for-all for the Skyhawks. Knowles showing some anger, frustration. Goes in hard and is fouled.
Yeah, Knowles, you could use some help with some guys hitting some outside shots because right now Salem Hills is packing it in the paint.
Well, the problem is the Dons get outside to attempt a shot. Salem Hills long enough to get out there and swat it away.
They'll then take a couple of steps back behind that three-point line.
Right.
But nonetheless, the spacing has just been horrific this entire game for Spanish Fork because they haven't been a threat from behind the arc.
Free throw good, so 1 of 2 for Knowles. And I'll tell you what, at this point it'd be nice to find a guy who's got some jimmer range.
Yeah, it would. I actually saw a guy wearing a Shanghai Sharks jimmer jersey at the game as we were watching the girls' game before this.
I'll tell you what, talk about making a name for yourself in a foreign land, and that's exactly what he did. Jimmer overseas is the Michael Jordan
Chinese
hoops.
Yeah, he's got that skill set that translated well into college basketball and also Chinese basketball, but not so much the NBA.
You still have to wonder if there's a spot for him somewhere, that would potentially be successful, but probably not going to find out. But a 3-ball dumped by Hunter Nielsen of the Dons.
Puts the lead to 17 now. Spanish Fork can make a run. I've seen stranger things in life.
I mean, if you can cut it down to, 12, 10, something like that towards the end of the quarter, you could potentially have a run here. But again, the big guys for Salem Hills, they're just having a heyday underneath.
Yeah, everything they're putting up is going in.
At some point, in Salem Hills, they're not making easy shots. They're just making everything. Oh, that's a foul. Bridger's just down there thinking, I'm going to find my way to the line. If I'm not going to make a bucket, I'll get it back and get there somehow.
And that's the 7th team foul. It's a 7-to-1 ratio here in this half. And, credit Bridger Knowles for being the lumberjack down low.
Missed number 1. They say he has 12 or 10 on the scoreboard. I have him for 12, so maybe I've misplaced one somewhere. Or they have. Let's blame it on them. Got 1 of 2.
Yeah, 1 of 2 is not going to do it when you're trailing by 18, and Spanish Fork's going to have to create some turnovers here if they want to get back into this ball game.
A good thing, Chris, Dons are on the free throw line from here on.
They are, and I'd still just keep going down low or taking a 3, trying to stretch that defense.
Outside shot missed. The Dons with a defensive rebound, which they need badly as Congdon fires, misses, rebound, travel. The Dons will get it back. Tyson Bishop with that travel.
Tyson Bishop with a few more steps than you can have.
Dons to inbound. Nelson misses.
A little floater, a little too hard that time.
Is that another travel? I thought it was another travel, and they don't call it, then they call a foul against Hunter Nielsen.
That's because Nielsen was a little frustrated about the travel, so he just decided to take justice in his own hand and run into him.
28 seconds left.
Coach Kunzler there, I think he's had better nights as the coach of the Dons.
Yeah. Certainly, but the Dons need a stop here just to maintain any hope. We got a whistle against Salem Hills underneath, and it looks like that one will go against Derek Burton.
Burton's just a sophomore here for the Salem Hills Skyhawks.
So now that's 18 fouls away from, so a non-shooting. Dons in possession. And again, great turnout here. Starting to get region play spirit. Shot up by Congdon. Can't connect. Rebound. Knowles count it. He's fouled. Bridger Knowles. And he can make it look a lot better here, Chris, with a free throw and cut it to 15.
Yeah, cut it to 15. If he makes it, there's only 1.6 seconds here in the quarter, so probably not a high percentage shot after this free throw.
Missed it. Rebound Salem. Not in time. That's how the third quarter will end. 51-35 your score. Advantage Skyhawks as we head to the fourth.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chris, as we come back, I'm looking at the scoring leaders for these two teams.
Everybody's in double digits for Salem Hills.
Well, I mean, Salem Hills have got 3 guys with 10 points and a guy with 8 points. and then it's just scattered. The Spanish Fork, and it's one-sided. Bridger Knowles with 15, Brandon Congdon with 7. So I don't know. I mean, you see how the scoring breakdown works. Salem Hills, they don't need James Nelson to be on fire to be successful, because so far David Jones and Charles Wiltshire have been also carrying the load along with Tyson Bishop.
Now, James Nelson's been a little off on his three-point shot. Can you imagine if he was on tonight, what the score would be?
I'd be crying over here.
Full disclosure, we were crying a little bit in between the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah. 3-ball missed by Congdon. Salem Hills with it. Nelson, no. Salem Hills somehow ends up with it anyway.
And Salem Hills is just going to take their sweet time. They've got a 16-point lead, work for a good shot. Or
Jones
an
can't
offensive rebound.
connect, or offensive board. That's got to be a
Oh,
foul, and
my
they don't
goodness.
call it. Rolfe ends up with it.
Sage
Back
Olsen
out.
got
They're going to call a
murdered.
charge. Nope, they're going to call a block against Hunter Nielsen.
I think Rolfe stole Sage Olsen's identity on that play. So.
Now that was an obvious foul to me. Is what it is, whatever. Ball stolen away by the Dons. Here comes Sage Olsen, and again, another turnover. Rolfe inside, travel by David Jones, Spanish ball.
I don't know how Rolfe got that ball into David Jones. I didn't see a lane to throw that ball into.
Neither did I. Nevertheless, here we are. Right side with it. Congdon inside Knowles. Stolen away by Rolfe.
And if you're going to come back in this game, Spanish Fork needs to at least get some shots off and not turn the ball over.
Like the air has been let out of this balloon for Spanish Fork.
Now it's all about playing for pride.
I mean, they just don't seem to have any intensity left. As a bucket good by James Nelson.
Might have taken an extra step, but the bucket still counts.
3-ball missed, rebound, Salem Hills. That one missed by Sage Olsen, and what do we have? Travel violation, James Nelson, the Dons will get it back. Nelson not happy about it. Nevertheless, it is what it is.
18-point lead here for Skyhawks. And they can't even get the tip in off the inbounds play working now.
Nelson double team. Why not use a timeout? I don't see why not.
And they did.
Jimmy called it. Okay. Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. They're located at 1550 North Main in Spanish Fork, 798-7711. You can go to triplettheating.com. Expert in heating, ACs, plumbing services in Utah County and St. George. So if you have a home down there, a lot of people from around town, they need to have that service performed on all of those heating devices, especially as we work our way further and further towards cold. However, I think we're getting away from the cold at this point, but hey.
We still have most of January to go, but
yeah, you don't want to
it's
get
been a crazy year for weather.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad I don't live on the East Coast right now anywhere, so
right.
I'm good with that.
I work with a couple people that have relocated from back east, and seen some of the pictures from their friends and family on like Instagram. It's unreal, the weather over there.
Yeah, but you know what? That's just the way it is. Nevertheless, you need to be prepared if your heating or air conditioning services need service. Think of Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. That's an easy one for James Nelson.
Oh, and great pass to set that play up to James Nelson, and a screen inside. That was an easy shot.
20-point lead for the Skyhawks.
Spanish Fork seems defeated. They're just standing around.
Yeah, I mean, there's no intensity. The only one who has it's the guy who made the bucket there, Bridger Knowles, who now has 17. They say 15 up there. I don't believe it again. They also got James Nelson for, I think, more than he has, but who knows.
Oh, and there's got to be a foul somewhere in that sequence. You had called it on multiple people on both teams, and finally Salem Hills will pick up the foul. And is this a shooting foul?
Should be 2 shots.
Or are they saying it's an offensive foul and a non-shooting offense foul? Because I know you don't shoot out on some of those charges.
No.
A loose ball, I think, is.
Yeah. And I believe shots here for Congdon. Yes. As he is at the line. So Brandon Congdon was 7. Make it 8. Had a very quiet second half. He's only made free throws. Second good.
And not a whole lot of shots made by Spanish Fork outside of Bridger Knowles, and they've made a lot of free throws in this game. Well, not a lot.
Second half, they've had, I think, 4 field goals made. A 3-pointer by Hunter Nelson and 3 field goals by Bridger Knowles, and that is it.
Wow. You're not going to win many games doing that.
You're not going to win any games doing that, Chris. Tanner.
Oh, wow. This place goes nuts. Was that Nelson that swatted it?
Yeah.
So Olsen's got to do a better job of getting into the shot blocker's body, either getting a foul or making the shot.
Again, I don't think he had any idea that Nelson was anywhere near him. I mean, these kids are so long for Salem Hills that they can block you from half court. Congdon steals it. Look out. Got it. No, he wanted a foul, didn't get it.
And he should have got one that time. It's definitely a lot of contact for not a foul, right?
Yeah. 16-point game. No, 14. Nelson, spin move, shot up, nobody's fouled. We'll go to line for 2. What a nice move.
A nice spin move that time by Nelson, and he'll end up at the free throw line. Only 3 team fouls for Spanish Fork, and that says one of 2 things. Either the refs aren't calling him or you're not playing hard enough.
Right. First of 2 for Nelson. Got it. 15. Scored every point here in the 4th quarter so far for Salem Hills. Got both of them. 16-point lead with 4 to go. Knowles underneath.
But do you see how they're corralling Knowles every time he touches the ball?
Yeah. But Knowles is still getting attempts up, and that's, that's the only real thing that I've seen Spanish Fork be able to do. They get it to Knowles, and somehow either ends up at the free throw line or getting a shot up at least. Tanner Olsen can't connect, and a foul by him. Team foul 5.
Pretty good run by Spanish Fork there, and Salem Hills answered back, and looked like Spanish Fork might be able to make a run there.
Yeah. They went the distance. Out of bounds. Nice strip by. Did they call a foul?
They called
a foul, so Cole Griffin will go to the line.
Okay. Might have got a little bit of the arm. That was, I could see in Cole Griffin's eyes, he was going to dunk that one, I think.
Yeah. Free throw good.
But was he shooting? Because the ball was below his waist. Nonetheless, I guess he gets the 2 shots. 16 foul on Spanish Fork.
Second one, no. Rebound. Congdon. He'll go to Knowles. Knowles, turn around, can't make it. Nice job by Condon. Or no, that was
Hunter
Nelson.
And I think if Spanish Fork can make another run here, because these two teams will meet a little later in the season.
3-ball missed. Wiltshire scores.
Wow, and Salem Hills. The official kind of got in the way there on that still that time by Nelson. Yeah, but Salem Hills is looking like a team that might be able to compete with Orem for that region championship.
Absolutely. Their region, is their preseason records? How did Salem look in preseason?
5-6, but they played in a lot of those out-of-state tournaments. Or they struggled a little bit, but that's some tough competition.
Well, I mean, and Jimmy DeGraffenreid also mentioned they recently played Weber, who turned out to be like one of the top teams in 3A coming up. They look tough.
That was earlier this week, and they defeated Weber by, I believe, a couple.
Yeah, that's a good team. Hunter Nielsen on a bucket for the Dons there. 2:33 left, and if I'm Salem, I start to eat that clock up a little bit. Timeout, Jimmy DeGraffenreid and the Salem Hills Skyhawks. Let's take a look at all of our sponsors once again and give them thanks. Tony Bass Auto Group, Dickerson Automotive, State Farm Insurance, and in particular our friend Lance Wilson, McKell Christiansen, and Wise Attorney at Law, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, and 2 Jacks Pizza. At the end of the game, MVP will announce tonight's MVP of the game. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook at Spanish Fort 17 on both of those. Go to youtube.com/Spanish Fort 17 and subscribe there. Chris, what's so funny?
I don't know. I've never seen some guy in a spacesuit out there doing the worm. Does it get any better than that at this age group? I submit that it does not.
I didn't see that.
You didn't see it?
No.
You didn't? You didn't miss much? Okay, looks like we might be able to get a repeat here. Well, our cameras aren't getting this, but you guys are not missing anything.
Yeah, that's just weird. All right. So, Salem Hills will inbound with 2:21 remaining and a 17-point advantage over Spanish Fork.
No shot clock, so I imagine they'll work the ball around for a really good shot and really not, they don't have to force anything.
Give it to Nelson, let him do his thing. He's got to get above 20 tonight, doesn't he? I was expecting at least 25 out of him. Dons have done a pretty good job containing him, though. Made it rough for him. Woo. Shot good. Sage Olsen.
Sage Olsen's getting up there as well.
That was his first bucket.
Oh, it was his first. I was using him with Parker Swenson, excuse me.
Yeah.
Never too late to get on the board. 14-point lead. It seemed like Salem Hills was just one step ahead of Spanish Fork tonight.
I mean, that second quarter really is what did the Dons in, and Nelson will go to the line for 2.
Congdon's 4th foul.
At this point, it's trivial.
I guess that's only 5 team fouls on Spanish Fork here. They had 6 up earlier. Must have given a couple of Salem Hills fouls that direction. Spanish Fork shooting 2 the rest of the way. Up next for Spanish Fork, they will be at Mountain View. Very winnable game for them. They can really take these next 2 because then they're at the La Hacienda against UNA next Friday, and we'll have that game live.
Yeah, UNA and Mountain View have had a rough go of it. Salem Hills on the rebound. What do we got here? Had to have been a little bit of a foul on somebody somewhere. And should be against.
It looked like it was on Tyson Bishop.
Yeah, it looked like it was on Bishop, but. What? What are they doing?
They just need to wipe up the sweat, I guess. Bodies flying everywhere on that play.
They called a travel, I guess, because nobody's shooting. Out of bounds, turnover to the Skyhawks. I am assuming tonight's MVP, sports MVP of the game for the Dons has to be Bridger Knowles, does it not, Chris?
The only other guy that's put up a lot of points is Condon, and those have been the two difference makers, but I agree with your assessment.
So Bridger Knowles will be tonight's MVP, sports MVP of the game, as we're now under a minute. Salem Hills can just work the clock to pieces, and if the Dons foul, that's just silliness at this point.
I just like watching Cole Griffin being guarded by guys 7 inches shorter than him and some of his ball fakes.
Yeah, Aaron Scott out there for the Dons as Nelson shows off some talent. Timeout. Full timeout by Salem Hills.
They'll call a timeout to get some of their starters out of here, and this crowd erupts. What a wonderful environment here tonight for if you're a Salem Hills fan.
Yeah, and you know, I'm looking around and there's a lot of Salem Hills fans at hand, but a lot of disappointed Spanish Fork fans as well. So, not a great night for the Dons, but nevertheless, again, like you mentioned, Chris, coming up for the Spanish Fork Dons will be a couple of winnable contests to kind of get them back on track, and they really need it. We will be back with you in a week. Spanish Fork taking on the Uinta Utes. And then in 2 weeks, we'll be back with you as the Dons will take on the pace of the Lions.
That should be a good game.
And then in 3 weeks, Spanish Fork versus Orem at home. So coming up for the Dons is going to be
a lot of Friday home games.
Yeah, a lot of Friday home games, and then that'll almost do it for us unless Spanish Fork's going to be in the playoffs. Well, they got Mountain Dew the last game of the year, so. James Nelson over, celebrating with his teammates, a victory over the Dons. It's an 18-point lead, 30 ticks on the clock.
Nice way to end your night with a dunk for Nelson there.
Underneath, Duval fouled. So Parker Duval good length 2 shots. Has a field goal back in the first quarter.
Yeah, and it was quite the field goal where he just got an offensive rebound and threw it right back up without hitting the ground.
And he was on his way down.
Yeah, I know. It was impressive.
Very nice. Free throw good. He'll get one more. Shot on the second, no good. Tipped around, out of bounds to the Salem Hills Skyhawks.
Imagine they'll just try and hold the ball and take the victory.
Yeah, and if the Dons foul again, I mean, why? All you're going to do is make the score uglier than it already is. Leave it at 18. There we go. That'll do it. The Skyhawks 63, the Dons 46. Salem Hills celebrating at midcourt like they've just won the state championship. They only had 12 points in that fourth quarter. But again, the Dons only had 11.
I'll give Salem Hills student body a big shout out. Now, whether they win or lose, they celebrate like they win.
Hey, you know what? Give them props for it. It's an environment, a high school basketball environment we want to see. Hopefully the Dons get where the Dons environment is the same in La Hacienda. We'll take a break. Be right back. Player of the game announcement.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Come to Dickerson Automotive for all your car repair and maintenance needs. Now is a great time to make sure your car is ready for these cold winter months. We take the time to get to know you and your car to give you peace of mind. Dickerson Automotive, located way north on Main and Spanish Fork.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Well, I love it.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these.
Well, I love it.
That's why we're there with renter's insurance when things go wrong, but also here with a rewards credit card.
Call State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
Nobody plans on getting in an accident, but if it does happen, you can rely on the expertise of Mike McKell to protect and fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury law, Mike McKell is the attorney you need. Contact Mike at McKell, Christiansen, and Wise.
Spanish Fork Dons fall to the Salem Hill Skyhawks 63-46 in a game that, the Dons really hung with them in that first quarter. It was looking like it was going to be one of those games where Spanish Fork was going to stick with them the whole time. But I'll tell you what, Salem Hills just ran away with it starting in the second quarter, and off they went. Game over.
Yeah, I think Spanish Fork ran into where they just couldn't buy a bucket. Salem Hills was getting all of those offensive rebounds in the second and third quarter, and that really set the tone for this entire ball game.
Again, Spanish Fork continues region play on Tuesday against, you said that was Maple
Mountain View.
Or Mountain View, sorry, Maple Mountain. Same thing to me, same ugly color.
Same ugly color, same maple in it. No, we love our friends at Maple Mountain.
Yeah, okay.
And Mountain View.
No, they share the channel with us. Of course we do. But nonetheless, hey, Mountain View, a team that Spanish Fork should beat.
They should on paper win these next two games for sure.
Uinta, if you lose that one.
They lost to them last year, and that was a shocker.
Yeah,
at home as well.
I just don't see it. I don't see it at least at home. So we want you to show up for that one. But tonight's MVP, sports MVP of the game, there he is, Bridger Knowles. Finished with 17 for the Dons. He and Brandon Congdon, the only two scorers in double digits. Congdon had 11, but Bridger put up 17, and on top of that, I think he was the only guy out there getting rebounds for Spanish Fork, and he was hustling out there hard.
Yeah, he hustled the entire game, and he did a good job because Salem Hills put a lot of emphasis on trying to stop him down low, and despite all that, he still was able to come up with 17. You could tell that was Jimmy DeGraff-Reed's game plan for Salem Hills.
Yeah, absolutely, but you know what? You can't keep him down all the time, and he proved it tonight. He wanted to stop Bridger, but to no avail. Bridger still had a terrific game for the Dons. Nevertheless, the final score here at Salem Hills High School, the Skyhawks 63, the Dons of Spanish Fork 46. We'll see you at La Hacienda Friday night as the Dons will take on the Uinta Utes. I'm Alan Huff along with Chris Hurst. From everybody from Spanish Fork 17, we thank you for joining us, and until next time, so long from Salem Hills.